Hey guys, it's your favorite doc is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, psychology expert, life coach. Started off as a marriage, family, and child therapist. I've been doing this mental health therapy thing, psychology expert stuff for 17 plus years. It's been a very long, rewarding, amazing journey. I've had the honor of working with hundreds and thousands, and now I'm in the millions of people, and being able to shift and change lives. And through that, God has blessed me to allow all of them to be able to be impactful on my life. So, the saying, no one person heals alone. And so, as I have been healing a culture, God has allowed me to heal alongside all of them. So, that's been the biggest blessing. Today, I'm going to be talking to Roscoe Smith, who is a wonderful father of a young man who has a diagnosis of schizophrenia. And he's going to give us some background on, his son, what those traits look like, and then what is it like to father and care for a child who has these traits. Mental health is something that is just huge in the world, but predominantly has become bigger than ever in our Black community. We don't have policing or policy that talks to it, speaks to it, or even protects it. And that's a problem. And because it's a problem, we are going to not only start the conversation, we are also going to make sure that we are advocating for these policies to be in effect for our community. But I do want to say this, although I advocate hugely for the Black community, I'm an advocate for human rights. And human rights means that everybody, no matter the color, the creed, the gender, or the race, right, or culture, is definitely due the right of a great quality of life and of mental health. And so with that being said, we are hoping that this shifts a culture, but that culture then shifts everything else it's connected to, which happens to be every other human in it who deserves the right to be mentally healthy and the resources that come with that in order for that to be possible. So today I want to say hi to Roscoe, Mr. Smith. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited to just dive into not just only, I call them, to me, kids, no matter how old they get, they still babies, okay? So dive into your babies, just his world and his journey. And then I want to know, as a parent, as a father, and even more as a Black father, what has that been like for you? Because, I always say that the patients, the clients, the ones that have the diagnosis, they get most of the help and the resources, whichever ones that are available for them, unfortunately, right? But the parents and the caretakers, it's kind of like you're just there to do a job and you have a responsibility, and we don't check in on your mental health. We're not checking in on what you may need. And these babies or these folks who need you are at the hands of your care. And we got to make sure that you're in a place of receiving the resources you need as well. So just give me a little background about Roscoe the third, which is your son.
Well, actually, he's the fourth.
Oh my God, it's four of them, y'all. Roscoe the fourth. Give me some background on him and whatever you want to share.
It's been an emotional roller coaster. Loving son, very intelligent. He was diagnosed at the age of 10 of being type 1 diabetic.
Sorry to hear that.
And at, I would say, 18, he was diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenic. But just to, I guess, to touch on him personally.
How old is he now?
He's 26 now.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And he's been independent for the last 2 years, basically. He has his own apartment.
How cool.
It was really hard for me, basically, I guess 2 years ago. I had to kick him out of the house because he attacked me. And when he attacked me, basically, had to get him into different programs, which I stood by him. It was one of the hardest things to kick my youngest son out of my house. But I couldn't have him threatening or hurting me or my mother. So, but with that said, basically, I stuck with him. He went from homeless shelters, a couple of homeless shelters, and I stuck by him. And then I finally got him into different programs, the S&P program, which I've seen a lot of progress in him and a lot of stabilization, but now I'm starting to see him get more threatening. To the point where a month ago, he pulled a knife on his mother, had it up to her throat, and they were just cooking. It was just, at the snap, he just,
How did
certain
she manage that? How did y'all regulate him from moving forward with the cut and obviously putting the knife down? What give us that experience of that? How did y'all regulate and manage that moment?
Well, actually, I was not there. I was told, they called me and told me that he had done that, basically. And he was full of rage, basically.
Ooh.
So I didn't say anything to him at that time, basically. I took him home. I called his nurse, basically. And, now that his mother is kind of terrified,
Kind
I'm
of.
terrified
Very much
because he
terrified.
attacked me as well. And that's the reason why I had to kick him out of my house. But like I said, it's just been an emotional journey, emotional roller coaster.
What's been most emotional for you? Tell me what's that internal struggle the most for you where it's like, I know this is what's best, but damn. What's that internal struggle?
Internal struggle for me, basically, I had to learn not to take it personal,
Ooh.
and that he had an illness
That's it.
as opposed to me, just getting mad as being man to man. And
Yeah.
so that was something that I had to learn, basically, internally, basically, not to take it personal and still give him the love and support that I do give him.
I love that. Let me tell you why I love what you said so much, Roscoe. The third, I got it right. Is that no, because I teach people, and I had to learn too as a therapist early on in my like mid-20s that the diagnosis is the problem.
Okay.
He's not.
Mm,
But because he is diagnosed with it, right?
correct.
We deem the person as the problem.
Yes.
But as a therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, guess what? They treat the diagnosis. They treat the symptoms.
Yes.
Guess what they're not treating?
The person.
They're not treating the person.
Right.
Why are they not treating the person? Because the person, if taught or medicated to be regulated, meaning regulating the diagnosis,
Right.
regulating the symptoms, is, and then you said it, a good person.
Yes. And that's why I said it's been an emotional roller coaster. He has his good days and he has his bad days. So you're absolutely correct.
And I want to honor you for being able to be in the awareness of saying, okay, I can't personalize this because if I do, this could get real ugly.
Yes. Yeah.
And I could really end up not even just disliking, but hating my child.
Exactly.
And I got to be able to detach myself from that spirit.
Yes. Exactly.
And say, this is a child who has a sickness.
Yes.
And while we try to help treat the sickness, let me just learn to love my child.
Yes.
But that's so hard, like you said, because it's like, that's taking you're the human side of you
Right.
out of it.
Yes.
And having to say, let me just do spiritually or the God in me or something in me that's best.
Yes. Yes. I have a man of faith. Yes. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Talk about that in you, the moment where you came to yourself and said, okay, I can't personalize this. And how do you manage that? Because there's so many parents that are still personalizing it. They don't want to.
Right.
But how did you come to yourself and say, okay, this is the moment where I can't personalize this? And then how do you manage and facilitate not personalizing it? How did you get that compassion and grace for him?
It took me over a period of time, at least a good 5 years now. He's attacked me, I guess the first time that he attacked me, basically, I was in my kitchen, and we were doing fine. We, made lunch, and he was laughing, and we were joking, and so on. And then I passed him. I had a mug on the table, and I just passed him, and all of a sudden, he just hit me in the back of the head, basically, with this mug, and I fell down. It was really traumatic for me.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done it, 4 or 5 times, and I had to really, and that's the reason why I had to really kick him out, basically. But it took me a period of time to get to the point where I'm at now and not taking it personal, because of the fact I was taking it personal, and I wanted to retaliate, and anger, and I'm not helping you, I'm not, don't call me, I blocked your number. But being a man of faith, I think that he told me basically this still is my child, and I still love him, basically, and he's, he has an illness, and just like the diabetes that he has, it's still an illness, and so I have to support him, and just basically, just trying to support my son basically, and not, take it personal. So it took me a little time to do that, basically.
Yeah.
I think right now we're at a good place, you know, between us.
Yeah. So I want to say that Roscoe the fourth was supposed to be here
Yes. Yes.
with us doing this interview.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing why he's not here?
And we call him Craig. It's, both
Okay.
our middle name is Craig.
Cool.
Craig is, like I said, a very unique young man. He switches. I guess his illness, basically, he will have his mind set on doing one thing, and then it'll change his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He will, and then it will change it back. Okay, we're going to do it. When I walked out the house, okay, Daddy, we're going to do it. But if he would have came, he would have been worried about water. He would have been worried about what he's going to eat, and it would have just been a stressful time for me because of the fact that, now I'm trying to get him, how should I say?
You're in caretaker mode.
Exactly. And so I think that Craig basically, is somewhat of a shy person, and he just backed out at the last minute.
Got it. And then do you mind sharing what happened recently?
Yes.
A few days ago?
Well, I'll go back approximately 2 months ago. We were took him to go get lunch. I dropped him off, and he took my keys, accidentally taken my keys, so I had to turn back around.
Mm.
And I noticed the police were outside his unit. And I'm looking, I'm like, what's going on? I'm just hoping it's not Craig, basically. So I talked to one of the ladies, basically said that it was a young man that stabbed the back of her tire and ran into the building. And she could only describe him with a black hoodie on. And so the police, involved, and I explained to him that I was his father. He had the mental illness, and they didn't arrest him, thank God.
Okay.
And I ended up paying for a $400 tire, and so that just kind of took me back to the point where he's getting a little violent now.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I want to say 2 weeks ago, him and his mother was in the kitchen cooking.
Again. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And having fun, and just snap. And he had a knife to her throat.
Oh, this is the second time?
No, this is the first time with
Okay.
her.
Got
He's
it.
traumatized me already.
Got it.
And she could not ever understand how I've been traumatized
Got
myself.
it. Until it happened to her.
Until it happened to her.
Gosh.
So now she understands, basically, and we're still kind of fearful of him, basically. And it's, I heard you talk about basically regulating
Yep.
his medication, basically.
Yep.
We're going through the same problems, basically. Now he's in a different program, West Central Family Medical Center.
Okay.
And, they changed his medication too much, basically. He's on one medication,
Yeah.
then he's, like I said, they just changed him to
Invega.
a shot, which I think, so far
Invega
it's
usually is
working.
pretty effective. As long as they stay consistent with it, Invega will regulate.
Okay.
But it usually needs to be taken commingled by other medications that also help the other traits of the schizoparanoid. Yes.
Okay, yeah, they had him on several different medications,
Oh, yeah.
basically, and they just, they just took those from him and gave him a shot. So
Okay.
I believe, basically, that, it's pretty working,
Have you seen the shot regulate him in different ways? Is he seem more?
Actually, he
baseline?
just started last Wednesday.
Okay,
They
no, it's
just
gonna
gave
take a
him-
while.
yeah,
Okay.
mhm. But, like I said, for the last week or so, it's just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Gosh. What are some of the traits that you feel you first seen in him? Some of the first traits you seen him exhibit where you were like, something's off with my baby. Something's off with him.
Okay, it started in the 11th grade, and he said something to me that he didn't want to go to school because people were filming him on the bus, and he just seemed like he was very paranoid. You know, and I'm like, I couldn't understand. What are you talking about, Craig? People are filming you. So what I did, I had him get on the bus, and I came on the bus. 5 or 6
What
people
a good
after,
father. Look at you.
and we
Wow.
rode the bus to Hollywood, where he went to Helen Bursing School, high school,
So you
rather.
rode the bus with him.
Oh yes,
I
yes, I
love
rode
that.
in the back,
Wow.
and I didn't see any evidence of that. So that was the first son, I think, and so I took him to Dee Dee Hertz, which is
Dee Dee Hertz is the OG.
yes,
They've been around for
right,
a long time.
right, and so that's when he was. They said anxiety, depression. I think it was
Like an
basically.
anxiety disorder,
Right,
okay,
right,
major depression or
right.
something.
And so then he went off to college, Texas State College,
Okay.
um, Tyler City. And he was going for 2 years, basically. So I'm thinking that he's doing fine, basically. And my brother called me one day, basically. He said, Craig is just going very bizarre. And when he came back here, I took him to UCLA, Ronald Reagan Hospital, basically. He stayed in that hospital for 3 months.
Wow.
And they said that it was a diabetic depression that he was going through. He wouldn't say nothing to anyone. He would just look around, and he just, wouldn't take care of his health or anything, basically. So we fast forward to that. He got out. He started doing better. He was with the help group in Culver City. I got him help there. And then when he exhausted that age limit, then he went to the SSP program, and he's been in that for for the last 2 years.
Got it. Now, does he live by himself or does he have roommates or how does that?
By himself.
Good. Like in a one bedroom, a single?
In one bedroom.
Good. And is it in a facility that also has other diagnoses in that apartment complex?
No, not at all.
So they have him like more in a community apartment
Yes.
with other people who are also normal,
Yes.
and then probably have other diagnoses in there that he's not aware of, but he's in there.
No. Actually, he's actually in a senior citizen. Most of the tenants are senior citizens.
See,
And I had to talk to the
Yeah.
landlord about that.
see that now I want to ask you that because, and I say this with all due respect, okay? I just want to ask how you feel about that because we're talking about Craig, a young man,
Yes.
right? Beautiful young man who has the ability because of his diagnosis to flip at any time.
Yes.
He's in a community apartment
Yes.
with senior citizens.
Yes. I'm sorry.
With senior citizens, right?
Yes.
So if his diagnosis goes into manic and he flips on one of these senior citizens.
Well, he already, not the senior citizen, but there's a gentleman that he's homeless and he sleeps in his car. He was staying with his grandmother a year ago and she passed away.
Oh,
And so now he sleeps in his car. And Craig has, came up and tried to attack him, saying that he's, stealing stuff out of the apartment and, just bizarre, untrue things, basically. So, yeah, he
he's
actually,
already
2, 3 days ago, basically, was up in the guy's face. And the gentleman, had, because of the respect that he has for me, he doesn't retaliate with him
Right.
because I explained to him his mental illness and so on. So he understands. So he kind of just walks away, basically. But when Craig pulled a knife on him, I guess about 2 days ago, he came to me again. He said, I just have to, let me put it this way. I asked the gentleman, can you, park your car down the street, around the corner somewhere, and if he comes up to you, just drive off,
away,
because of his illness, he really doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. And see, and that's where a lot of the problems come in at.
Okay.
You put this young man in this apartment complex with other people who are not privy to knowing that he has this.
Yes,
You as a father have to advocate
I did.
with this other gentleman and saying, listen, brother, please, this is my child. He has this illness. So this is going to be some of the normalcy of his characteristics, of his behaviors.
Right.
Can you are you willing to move? Are you willing to just
Yes.
respect us? Can you please just be a part of our village?
Right.
Right? And not retaliate on him. And thank God this guy was nice enough, it sounds like,
Exactly.
to be a part of this advocacy and say, yeah, I will totally understand and respect that. But how many people, Roscoe, won't take that? How many people that you can't have that conversation with everybody that he encounters? And everybody who he encounters is not going to just say, absolutely, Roscoe, no problem. I will respect that.
Exactly. And
that's the part that, for me, is an issue, because there aren't homes or enough homes that are facilitating folks with diagnosis, dual diagnosis, mental health disorders that are personality disorders. Personality disorders, there's no cure for them. The only thing you can do is regulate through medication and talk therapy that gives you tools.
Yes.
Mood disorders, which are depression, anxiety, those things at some point can shift out of. They can go through seasons. Some people go seasons that are like months, some go years. But that's a whole different ballgame than personality psychotic disorders.
I see.
And so my thing is, with policy, with programs, there needs to be homes where everybody in there, right, has management that knows how to facilitate mental illness.
Exactly.
So they understand that, listen, when you are around this community or this apartment complex, this is what's going on in here.
Exactly.
And there's group therapy, there's talk therapy, there's someone who administers medication, there's someone who comes in and does a wellness check on them every 2 days, every 48 hours, so that these young adults and grown adults have the resources necessary for them to actually thrive. And two things, not be a risk to other people who aren't even privy to their illness.
Exactly.
But watch this. Also not be a risk to themselves for someone not knowing this person has a mental illness.
Exactly.
And I'm going to retaliate.
And that's my fear. That's my fear. Or the police not knowing. And I can't be in two places at one time. So, that's been my big fear, basically.
Yeah.
He's gonna hurt someone, or someone is gonna hurt him. So.
And either way, there's this lose-lose.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel the system, from healthcare to resources to any of the programs you've been involved with Craig, how do you feel they have failed you?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I must say that I've been kind of blessed, basically, navigating through different programs that I did not know about, basically. I can't really say that they have failed me too much, basically.
Good.
But I see that, I look around, basically, and I see all the homeless people in my area and around, basically, and know that there's mental health issues.
Right.
So it's like you said, there's not enough facilities that will help, our communities, and especially people of color.
Yeah.
I
like
really,
that. Talk about how it actually has served you then, so people can know the benefits and the positive side of why programs are necessary, why policies. Tell us how it has served you, and how has it helped make just you personally, as a caretaker and a father, your wellness, your well-being, your livelihood better with having to care for a son with this mental illness.
Well, yeah. For me, basically, I really feel, oh, God, that's a good question. I feel that, I've been blessed with people that, that gave me the knowledge. And that's how, I go back to not taking it personal and kind of educating me about his illness, and just to the fact where oh God, I'm kind of stuck on this one.
That's okay. Take your time.
I just feel blessed, Dr. Bryant, that, I've had the support that I've had, around me to kind of help guide me, with him.
Would you say it takes a village?
Exactly. It not only takes a mother and father, it takes a whole village, right? And I've been blessed, but I see others that do not get the resources or the services or the medication that my son gets, basically. And And that's one reason why I'm doing this interview basically with you, basically, because if I can help someone else or another parent to kind of navigate, their way of trying to find professional help for for their daughter or their son, I'm, all for it, basically.
100%.
They just, I've been blessed. That's all I can really say.
And that's good. I love that. Because there's a lot of families that are struggling with programs and they're struggling with where to find resources. Where are these contacts at?
Exactly.
Well, how do I do this? I'm a prisoner in my own home, but I love my baby. How do I navigate that? How do I separate that? When you look at your son and his future, two things. First question is, what is most heartbreaking for you? When you look at his condition, you look at the trajectory, you look at what's possible. And this is coming from a father who, at his age, you didn't have a mental health diagnosis. At least you weren't diagnosed with it.
Right, exactly.
And so the trajectory for you and your baby are different.
Yeah.
The possibilities are different.
Yes. I guess the sad thing, basically, he'll probably never reach his full potential because of his mental illness. He's a culinary cook. I mean, I never knew what rosemary was until, he taught me that. He's just a bright kid, basically, but I don't think he'll reach his full potential because of his illness. And he also gets anxiety, which is one reason why he's not here today. And just, it's going to be a lifelong battle for him. And, I have to be there right alongside of him.
Yeah.
So.
Love that. What, I see you getting emotional over that.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold it, but I'm good.
It's okay. Tell me, what does the emotions represent that come up for you?
Like I said, it's been an emotional roller coaster, and sometimes I feel I'm by myself. I just feel, excuse me.
No, don't. You let that out.
I feel, like I said, I'm blessed basically, but there's certain things that I kind of feel helpless. If I could take, his diabetes away, if I could take his mental illness away, I would. And I'm just trying to get the best help for him.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Just trying to, navigate, through his pain.
And you obviously empathize with his pain.
Yes, I do. I mean, to be a type 1 diabetic and to have the, a paranoid schizophrenic, I can't even imagine what he's going through. I can't. And like I said, I'm just blessed to have the support that I do. But sometimes, like you said, it's the parent.
Come on.
That needs the therapy.
Yeah. Can I sit by you?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want the best help for him. That's it.
But I want to take it back on you, because you said it's the parent that needs the therapy. You're the parent.
Yeah. And I do need therapy. I realize that. I understand that now. And that's why I had to learn not to take it personally. So, with this all said, basically, I need to be in therapy along with him. And that's something maybe that they failed me since he's been in there.
Come on. Now we're talking.
Never once, I had one therapist to tell me that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And she was right about that. And he was 15 then. But as far as the therapy or the mental health for myself, I just haven't taken time for that. And I realize that now.
That you need it.
I need it.
And for the parents that are out there going through what you're going through.
Mental health has been a stigma in our Black community, something that we, ostracized and, just, shied away from. But for right now, being a parent of mental health, of a parent of a child of mental health, I just urge every parent to get the right help for their child, the therapy for their child, and the therapy for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's very important. And there's been so many times where I thought,
come on. Take your time.
I thought that having to
Bring it
thank you.
Yeah. You got to take the whole thing.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. We got more.
I needed this cry. I haven't cried like
Good.
this
And I'm here for it. I got your back.
But I really think that we just need I just need therapy, and I need to be there with them, along with therapy. But like you said, there's some of the programs out there basically they don't tailor to the parent.
Mm-mm.
And and I go in with his therapy appointments, and they're all of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How you doing? How you feeling? Do you need medication? And
that's it.
That's it. That's it.
No tools, no psychoeducation, no support, no helping you process your pain pockets. Because although this is for all parents with kids suffering with mental illness, the child might be diagnosed with it, but both of y'all are experiencing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Both.
Right. Absolutely right.
And I see so many of my parents be dismantled, deteriorated, depressed, and consumed. And this may sound crazy, the child or the young adult, they are going through their diagnosis, but the parent is actually going through the harder part of it in the sense of the depression, the dismantling. Because the diagnosis, once it overtakes the person, right, they're in their diagnosis, so it's a struggle for them. But as a parent, there's a duality. Caretaking, which has to be all about this person.
Correct.
But then I'm alone.
Yeah.
Within my own issues, my depression, my symptoms, my traits. Where do I go? How do I process? So y'all don't, you internalize.
Right.
And then you also have to, like you said, but I can't personalize this.
Yeah.
So I got to push that down too.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely correct.
We got to get you some therapy.
Yes.
Not with him, but one-on-one. Just you. Okay?
Yes.
I'm going to offer you a few sessions free of charge. Will you accept?
Yes, of course, Dr. Bryant. Like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster, and I'm just on this. I'm on this emotional roller coaster with him, and if we can, level out together, that would be my blessing.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Thank you.
Love to do
Thank
it.
you.
Give me a hug.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you.
And thank you. I got to give you a thank you for being
Thank you.
a father.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
And I know you've been his friend.
Yes.
I know you've been his confidant,
Yes,
his go-to,
Yes,
his
ma'am.
advocate,
Yes,
his attorney.
Yes,
I know you've been all those things. And you've been his therapist. And ain't took a class one day in your life.
All right.
And on top of that, you're a Black father. I love that.
Thank you.
Love that. So I want to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up, because you showing up for him literally showed up for all of us. And Black fathers are not just important. Y'all are it. No, y'all are it. And when you all do step up like you have, you guys deserve all the flowers in the world. And this narrative that Black men are not fathers, it's men like you who shift that narrative, change that narrative, and check that narrative. Because y'all are.
Yeah, thank you.
Y'all are.
Thank you.
So thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy you came to the interview.
Sorry for the tears.
No, don't you say sorry. Don't, everybody.
Well, I said I was emotional, man.
Everyone loved this. The whole team is loving it.
Right.
Thank you. No, this is what advocacy looks like. It's your ministry.
Yes.
It's you saying,
Yeah.
use my ministry, use my truth, use my authenticity for whatever we got to use it for.
Right.
That's it.
Thank you.
It's not a mask. It's not somebody behind with a title. It's definitely not somebody with a title.
Gotcha.
It's the ministry.
Yeah.
And you came here and ministered not just to everyone who's going to be watching. You ministered to everyone here. You ministered to my home. And so I'm happy for that.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. I want, if you don't mind, to just, what advice would you give? We know go to therapy, but would you give, I want to make it very specific, would you give Black fathers, whether their kid is mentally ill or not, what advice would you give a Black father on trying to navigate fatherhood?
Always love your child. Don't take it personal. And understand that basically that your child has an illness. It's not, just like alcohol is an illness. So I would say just try to give your son or your daughter the support that you can, the best support that you can, and try to navigate, with the different services that they offer.
Yeah.
And try to find those services.
And don't give up.
And don't give up.
And it does get harder.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
With the village. With the village.
Yes,
So create your village.
Well, now I have my village.
And now I'm a part of your village now. So I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.